Interesting article from Khabar Hijivan
Okay.
called Her Pisces, Characteristics, Compatibility, and March 2025 Predictions.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, and it was just published yesterday, so it's
Yeah.
hot off the presses.
Wow.
So if you're a Pisces or have Pisces in your life,
Mhm.
or if you're just like really into astrology, this is the deep dive for you.
Cool.
We're going to be talking about finances and self-worth and a lot of cosmic energy. That's going to make March, well, let's just say, interesting.
It certainly seems that way, and what makes this deep dive especially interesting is that we're exploring these themes through the lens of this particular article's perspective,
Okay.
which seems to be geared toward a younger audience.
Ooh, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to keep that in mind as we unpack everything.
Yeah.
So first things first, let's break down what makes a Pisces a Pisces. I always find it helpful to start with the basics before we get into like all the nitty-gritty predictions and stuff.
Right.
You know.
The foundation.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, as you probably already know, Pisces are born between February 19th and March 20th, and they're often described as dreamy, intuitive, and deeply compassionate.
Right. The article calls them the gentle mystics of the zodiac.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's very fitting.
It also calls them empaths, which I've always found super fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that makes Pisces so intuitive and emotionally sensitive?
It all comes down to their ruling planets.
Oh, okay.
Pisces are ruled by Neptune, the planet of dreams and intuition, and Jupiter, the planet of expansion and abundance.
Okay.
This combination creates a unique sensitivity to the world around them, almost like they have like an extra sense
Oh, wow.
for picking up on emotions and energies of others.
So they're like walk and talk and mood rings, basically.
Haha, in a way, yes.
That's so cool.
And this heightened sensitivity can be both a blessing and a curse.
Oh, whoa.
Well, on the one hand, it makes them incredibly compassionate and understanding friends, partners, family members. They can often sense what someone needs before they even say a word.
Yeah, but awesome.
Because they feel things so deeply, they can also be easily overwhelmed or drained by other people's emotions.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, they need to be mindful of their boundaries and create space for themselves to recharge.
Yeah, for sure. It's like being a sponge. You can only absorb so much before you have to like wring yourself out.
Exactly.
The article also mentioned that Pisces can sometimes be a bit too trusting or prone to escaping reality when things get tough.
Yeah, that dreamy Neptune influence can sometimes lead them to idealize situations or people, which can make them vulnerable to disappointment or even manipulation. But on the flip side, it also allows them to tap into incredible creativity and imagination.
Yeah, so it's like a double-edged sword.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the Pisces personality down, but what about relationships? I'm particularly curious about the article's take on compatible signs, especially since it seems to be coming from that youth astrology perspective, like you mentioned.
Right. The article highlights a few signs that generally vibe well with Pisces.
Oh.
It's interesting to note, though, that the way these compatibilities are presented feel very much geared toward a younger audience.
Oh.
Focusing more on, like, shared activities and interests.
Yeah, like what they can do together.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so which signs made the cut?
Well, first on the list is Cancer.
Okay.
Both being water signs, they connect on a deep emotional level.
Oh, cool.
They understand each other's moods and sensitivities intuitively. The article uses the analogy of cozy nights in and heartfelt conversations, really playing up that emotional bond.
That's cute.
It is.
Sounds like a perfect match for Netflix and chill.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about, what other signs?
Next up is Scorpio.
Okay.
This pairing is all about intensity and depth. According to the article, they can have late-night talks about life, the universe, and everything.
Wow.
Which definitely appeals to that youthful sense of wonder and exploration.
I can totally picture that, like them just sitting under the stars, pondering the mysteries of the cosmos.
Exactly.
That's so cool. Okay, what other signs are we looking at?
The article also highlights Taurus,
Okay.
which is an earth sign.
Right.
This might seem like an odd pairing at first, but the idea is that Taurus provides a grounding influence for the dreamy Pisces.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, the article emphasizes shared interests like a love for beauty and comfort,
Yeah.
which again feels very targeted toward a younger demographic.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like Taurus brings Pisces down to earth, while Pisces helps Taurus loosen up a bit.
Precisely.
It's like a classic opposites attract scenario. Okay, cool.
And finally, we have Capricorn.
Capricorn. Okay.
This pairing might seem a little surprising too.
Yeah.
But the article argues that Capricorn's practicality and ambition can help Pisces turn their dreams into reality.
Oh,
I like that.
the language used here, like achieving great things together, definitely leans into that youthful aspiration.
Yeah, for sure. It's like Capricorn provides the roadmap and Pisces provides the creative fuel.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay. So what about signs that might clash with Pisces? Did the article mention anything about that?
It briefly mentioned Gemini and Virgo as potential sources of friction.
Oh, okay.
It suggests that Gemini's scattered energy might be overwhelming for sensitive Pisces,
Right.
while Virgo's critical nature could lead to hurt feelings.
Oh, that makes sense.
Interestingly, it frames these clashes as opportunities for growth,
Oh,
encouraging young Pisces to learn adaptability from Gemini and discernment from Virgo.
so it's all about like learning and evolving even through those tough interactions. Well, we've covered a lot of ground about Pisces in general.
We have.
Now I'm really curious to see how this youth astrology perspective plays out in the March 2025 predictions.
Okay.
Ready to dive into that? Absolutely. March is Pisces season, after all, so it's bound to be an eventful month. And with Venus retrograde kicking things off, it's going to be particularly interesting to see how this energy manifests for our younger Pisces audience.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting.
It does.
So let's break down March, week by week, and see what the stars have in store for our Pisces friends, especially those who are, shall we say, young at heart.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so let's start with the first week of March,
Okay.
from the 1st to the 10th.
All right.
What's happening up there in the cosmos during this time?
Well, the most significant event is Venus retrograde in Aries.
Yeah.
And get this, it's happening in Pisces' second house.
Now, for those who are like new to astrology, what exactly does that mean?
Right.
What is a house and why is Venus going backwards such a big deal?
Good questions.
Uh-huh.
In astrology, a house represents a specific area of life.
Okay.
There are 12 houses in total, and each one governs different themes. The second house, where Venus is retrograding for Pisces, is all about finances, possessions, and self-worth.
So we're talking money and how we value ourselves.
Exact.
Okay, and retrograde just means a planet is appearing to move backward from our perspective here on Earth.
Right.
But astrologically, it's thought to disrupt the energy of that planet.
Exactly.
Right.
And because Venus is all about love, beauty, and yes, money, when it goes retrograde, it can stir up issues in those areas. Think of it like a cosmic rewind button, forcing us to revisit past patterns, relationships, or even financial habits.
So for young Pisces, who are likely still figuring out their financial independence, this could be a little bit of a wake-up call.
It could be.
What kind of specific effects can they expect from Venus retrograde in their second house?
Well, it could bring up old spending habits that no longer serve them.
Okay.
Maybe they're suddenly confronted with a forgotten debt, or tempted to overspend on things that provide temporary gratification.
Ooh, I've been there.
We've all been there.
Impulse purchases are dangerous.
They are very tempting.
Yeah, but there's also this focus on self-worth, right?
Yes.
How does that tie into Venus retrograde in the second house?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because the second house also rules self-worth. Venus retrograde can trigger a period of deep introspection.
Okay.
Young Pisces might find themselves questioning their values, their talents, their overall sense of worthiness.
So it's like a cosmic invitation to do some soul searching,
Exactly.
around how they view themselves and their place in the world.
I like that.
And while this introspection might feel uncomfortable at times,
Yeah.
it's ultimately a positive thing.
Okay.
It's an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. By examining their relationship with money and their own value, young Pisces can start to make more conscious choices that align with their authentic selves.
So turning those financial lemons into lemonade, basically.
Exactly. It's about finding the opportunities for growth and self-discovery, even amidst the chaos of a retrograde. Love it. Okay, so besides Venus doing its backward dance, are there any other planetary influences at play during this first week of March that our young Pisces should know about?
We also have Mars in Cancer,
Okay.
which is interesting because remember, Cancer is one of those compatible signs we discussed earlier.
Oh, right. Yes.
Mars is the planet of action and energy, and in Cancer, it brings a boost to creativity and emotional expression.
So it's like a double dose of that water sign energy, amplifying those feelings and intuitive vibes.
Exactly. This could be a great time for young Pisces to connect with their Cancer friends, explore creative outlets, or simply spend time nurturing their emotional well-being.
And I imagine that creative outlet could manifest in all sorts of ways.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe it's like writing poetry, making music, or even just rocking out to their favorite tunes.
Yeah, anything that allows them to express themselves.
Cool.
The key here is self-expression and finding healthy ways to channel that heightened emotional energy.
Okay.
And on top of all that, we have Mercury, the planet of communication,
Oh, wow.
also moving through Pisces during the first few days of March.
Triple whammy.
It is.
So that's Venus retrograde, Mars in Cancer, and Mercury in Pisces. What kind of impact does Mercury in Pisces have, especially for those younger folks?
Well, Mercury in Pisces enhances their natural intuition and ability to communicate on a deeper level.
Okay.
This could be a great time for heartfelt conversations, expressing their feelings through writing or art, or simply connecting with others on a soulful level.
So basically, early March is like a cosmic cocktail of emotions, creativity, and introspection for young Pisces.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
It's a time to embrace their sensitive nature, explore their creative side, and maybe even do some deep thinking about their finances and self-worth.
Awesome. Okay, so we've unpacked that first week of March.
We have.
Now let's move on to week 2.
Okay.
What does mid-March hold for our Pisces friends?
Mid-March brings a shift in energy as the sun moves into Pisces on the 11th.
Wait, the sun moves into Pisces, so does that mean
It's officially Pisces season.
it's officially Pisces season? So what does that mean for our listeners, especially those younger Pisces who are just starting to explore their identities and passions?
This is their time to shine. The sun in their own sign amplifies all of their natural charisma, creativity, and intuition. It's like the cosmos are giving them permission to just fully embrace their unique selves and let their inner light shine through.
I love that. It's like a cosmic spotlight is shining down on them, encouraging them to step into their power.
Right, and remember, Mercury is still in Pisces during this period too.
Oh, yeah.
So that enhances their communication skills and makes this a really great time for meaningful conversations, creative collaborations, and just expressing themselves authentically.
That's awesome.
The article even specifically mentions connecting with Scorpio or Taurus for an extra dose of inspiration.
Makes sense, given their compatibility with those signs.
Mhm.
So we've got this like amazing energy of self-expression and connection happening during mid-March. But didn't you mention earlier that Venus retrograde would still be lingering?
Unfortunately, yes, Venus retrograde is still going to be felt, particularly when it comes to like finances and self-worth. And the article actually gives some really practical advice here,
Oh, cool.
encouraging young Pisces to like vibe with what they've got instead of giving in to impulse purchases.
Okay, so maybe hold off on buying that expensive concert ticket or like trendy outfit. It's all about being mindful of your spending habits
Right.
and finding ways to express your individuality without breaking the bank.
Exactly. And it's not just about material possessions either.
Okay.
Venus retrograde in the second house can also trigger some insecurities
Oh,
around self-worth.
yeah.
So this is a good time for young Pisces to really focus on building their confidence from within rather than seeking validation through external sources.
Yeah. So maybe instead of buying that expensive new gadget, they could spend time like developing a skill or pursuing a hobby that makes them feel good about themselves.
That's a great example. It's about finding ways to invest in themselves and nurture their talents. The article even suggests things like journaling or other forms of creative expression as a way to process these complex emotions
Oh, that's good.
and channel that heightened energy in a positive way.
I've always found journaling to be super helpful, especially during times of like transition or uncertainty. It's like having a conversation with yourself on paper, helping you sort through your thoughts and feelings.
Absolutely. And for a sign like Pisces, who are naturally intuitive and introspective, journaling can be a particularly powerful tool for self-discovery.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
So mid-March is a time for Pisces to step into the spotlight, own their unique gifts, but also practice self-awareness and financial responsibility.
Exactly. It's all about finding that sweet spot between self-expression and self-control.
I like that. Now, before we move on to late March, I'm curious what stands out to you as like the most significant aspect of this mid-March period for young Pisces, especially from this youth-focused lens.
I think it's the emphasis on authenticity and individuality. With the sun in their sign, they're really encouraged to explore who they are and what makes them special. And the advice about journaling and creative expression also ties into this, suggesting that they find outlets that allow them to express their unique perspectives and inner worlds.
It's like a cosmic invitation to embrace their weirdness and share their gifts with the world.
Exactly. And that's such a powerful message, especially for young people who are still figuring things out.
Totally. Okay, so we've explored the first 2 weeks of March. Let's shift our focus now to late March, from the 21st to the 31st. What's brewing in the cosmos as we approach the end of Pisces season?
Late March brings another shift in energy as the sun enters Aries on the 20th.
Okay.
And this is interesting because remember, the sun moving into Aries for Pisces means it enters their second house.
Ah, yes. That area of life we talked about earlier, finances, self-worth, and all that jazz. So it seems like those themes are coming back around for a second act, but this time with an Aries twist.
Precisely. Aries is a fire sign known for its boldness, energy, and leadership qualities. So this shift could bring a surge of motivation and confidence, particularly when it comes to taking charge of their financial situation
Okay.
and pursuing their goals with more assertiveness.
So instead of shying away from financial decisions or feeling insecure about their worth, young Pisces might suddenly feel inspired to take action and make some bold moves.
Exactly. This could be a great time to set financial goals, ask for that raise, or even start a side hustle. The Aries energy encourages them to step outside their comfort zone and take risks.
I love that. It's like they're getting a cosmic pep talk, urging them to go after what they want.
But hold on, didn't you say Venus retrograde would still be active during this time? Does that create any conflict with this bold Aries energy?
That's a good point. While the Aries influence encourages action and confidence, Venus retrograde reminds us that it's still important to proceed with caution and awareness. This isn't the time to make any rash decisions, especially regarding finances or relationships. So it's about finding that balance again, right?
Yeah.
Being bold, but also being mindful.
Exactly. It's about channeling that Aries energy in a strategic and thoughtful way, rather than just charging ahead blindly.
Speaking of channeling energy strategically, there's another significant event happening during this final week of March, right?
Yes. We have a new moon in Aries on March 29th.
Ooh, new moons are always exciting. What does this one signify for young Pisces, especially in the context of this late March energy?
New moons represent new beginnings and fresh starts. This particular new moon in Aries falling in Pisces' second house is a powerful time for setting intentions related to finances, self-worth, and material security. It's like a cosmic reset button offering a chance to plant seeds for future abundance and growth.
So it's a perfect time to visualize their financial goals, work on building their confidence, and start creating the reality they want to see.
Exactly. And with the Aries energy still strong, they'll have that extra boost of motivation and courage to take those first steps.
This late March period is sounding like a time of both opportunity and potential pitfalls.
It is. Remember, Venus retrograde is known for bringing up past issues and requiring us to revisit old patterns. This can be challenging, but it's ultimately a chance to learn from our mistakes and make healthier choices moving forward.
So proceed with confidence, but keep your eyes open and be prepared to learn some valuable lessons along the way.
Exactly. And remember, for young Pisces, this is all part of their journey of self-discovery and growth. They're learning how to navigate the complexities of life, including the ups and downs of finances and relationships.
It's all part of that youth astrology perspective we talked about earlier. They're exploring, experimenting, and figuring out who they are in the world.
And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. It's not just about predicting the future, it's about understanding how these cosmic energies can influence our choices and help us navigate the challenges and opportunities that come our way.
All right, so we've unpacked early March, mid-March, and late March for our young Pisces listeners. As we wrap up our deep dive, I want to make sure we hit those key takeaways. What are the most important things for Pisces to remember as they navigate the month ahead?
Well, I think March is a month of contrast for Pisces. It's a time to embrace their individuality and shine brightly, but also to practice self-awareness and financial responsibility. It's a time to tap into their creativity and express themselves authentically, but also to be mindful of the lingering influence of Venus retrograde.
Like the cosmic dance.
Yeah.
Finding that balance between the expansive energy of Pisces season and the introspective energy of Venus retrograde.
Exactly. And remember that quick tip from the article View March as your season finale, Pisces.
What do you mean by season finale?
It suggests that you approach this month as an opportunity to tie up loose ends, reflect on your growth, and prepare for new beginnings in April.
Okay, so use this time to celebrate how far you've come, learn from your experiences, and set the stage for what you want to manifest in the coming months.
That's a great way to sum it up. It's about honoring the past, being present in the now, and creating a future that's aligned with your authentic self.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling energized after this deep dive into all things Pisces.
It's been fascinating to explore these themes through a youth-focused lens. It really highlights the potential for growth and self-discovery that this sign possesses.
Absolutely. And for our young Pisces listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights and guidance as you navigate this exciting, but also potentially challenging month. Remember, even with Venus retrograde throwing some curveballs, you've got this.
And don't forget to check back with us for our next deep dive.
That's right. We'll be back soon with another fascinating exploration of the zodiac. But before we go, we'd love to leave you with a final thought-provoking question.
Given all this talk about finances and self-worth, we want you to think about this. What steps can you take to feel more financially secure and confident in your own value?
Ooh, good one.
We encourage you to reflect on this question and maybe even share your thoughts with us. We'd love to hear your insights. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep. And remember, Pisces, embrace your dreams, trust your intuition, and keep shining bright.
See you on our next deep dive.
See you next time.
Bye for now. As we've been talking about all these different aspects of Pisces and their March forecast, I keep thinking about how unique this sign is, especially like viewed through this youth astrology lens.
Yeah, it's like they have this innate ability to tap into a deeper level of understanding both within themselves and in the world around them.
And that's so powerful, especially for young people who are still figuring out
Absolutely.
who they are and what they want to contribute.
It really is. This deep dive has reminded me of how important it is to like nurture that intuitive spark.
Yeah.
And encourage young Pisces to really embrace their sensitivity as a strength, not a weakness.
It's like they're little sponges soaking up all the emotions and energies around them. And finding healthy ways to like process and express those feelings is so key.
Exactly. And the article we're referencing really seems to get that.
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see astrology presented in a way that speaks directly to the experiences and challenges of younger generations.
Totally agree. It feels like a more relatable and accessible approach to astrology,
Yeah.
which can sometimes feel a bit intimidating or esoteric.
It certainly can. And I think this approach has the potential to empower young people.
Yeah.
To use astrology as a tool for self-discovery and personal growth.
I love that. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, is there anything else that stood out to you from the article? Any particular insights or advice that you think our listeners should keep in mind?
I think the emphasis on self-care is really important.
Yeah.
You know, for a sign as sensitive and emotionally intuitive as Pisces, creating healthy boundaries and prioritizing their well-being is essential.
Absolutely.
Whether it's through journaling, spending time in nature, or simply saying no to things that drain their energy, taking care of themselves, needs to be a top priority.
That's such great advice, not just for Pisces, but for everyone.
Right.
We all need to make time for self-care.
Absolutely.
So naturally in today's like fast-paced, always connected world.
Especially, and I think this message is particularly resonant for younger generations who are facing like unique pressures and challenges.
Well said.
Okay.
I think we've covered just about everything there is to know about Pisces, their compatibility, and what March 2025 holds for them, especially those who are young or young at heart.
I think so.
Expert speaker, thank you so much for sharing your insights and expertise with us today. It's been a pleasure diving deep with you.
The pleasure's all mine. It's always a joy to explore the nuances of astrology, especially with such a curious and engaged audience.
And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive and learned something new along the way. Remember, whether you're a Pisces or not, the stars are always there to guide us, and we each have the power to create a life that is aligned with our truest selves.
So well said.
And don't forget to check back with us for our next deep dive. We'll be back soon with another fascinating exploration of the zodiac. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep looking up at the stars.
See you next time.
Bye for now.